Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. I'm excited. We're at two communities here, actually three communities all colliding together today. So some of you know each other and some of you do not. But we know everybody here, Joanne and I do, in different places. Well, I don't know actually everybody either, but that is okay. So we are going to start out. Joanne, do you want to do some introductions? Tell us a little bit about what we're going to do today, and I can then talk about FunCom here a little bit for the people that don't know about the FunCom here community.
Yeah, sure. So welcome everyone. This is Thrive in July, and I really appreciate you being here. So just a quick way of introduction from me and Deb. As you know, I'm Joanne. My community, I have two communities actually. One is called Writers Who Wander, helping writers get published out in the world. And then the other community I have is called Launch Before, and that's to help creatives with membership sites and getting those launch before everything feels perfect and launch before you're completely ready. So this, I'm going to have Deb introduce herself, but I just wanted to also add that this came about because I got my business into Thrive Global. And once I did it, I realized it's really not that hard. The thing is, you just need to know how to do it. And that's what I'm going to share. And we're going to use Deb as an example, and we're going to literally go step through step. And honestly, every one of you, I know you will get in as well. So let me pass that over to Deb for some introductions, and then we'll kick it off.
Cool. Thanks, Joanne. So Joanne is in the FunCom here community, which is my Mighty Network. I launched about a year ago, and a group of people who took the Community Design Masterclass with me in the Mighty Networks platform wanted to gather and didn't have a space. And so I had offered a space in my community. And it just turned out that I ended up becoming this consultant for Mighty Networks, and I created a thing called a Mighty Mastermind. And we had a session for our Mighty Mastermind. We're doing it monthly now. And we had a session that we talked about onboarding and different ways to market your community. I have a marketing expert coming in next week to talk about how to market your community. But we were talking about how to get more visible and get out there, because I've been really in the content creation mode, but I really need to start getting out to, networking and doing more out in the world so people know what I'm doing, and not just within the Mighty Networks, Mighty Host space, but also in the public, to help people build their communities faster and finding common doing it. And so what we thought about, Joanne had offered it up for our members. And I thought, well, why don't we work together? That way we can share all this information with a whole ton of people throughout both of our communities. So that's kind of what inspired today's event. And that's a little bit of background on the FunCom here community, which is now for community builders who want to streamline and FunCom while they build their community. And so a couple people that are here today are from the Mighty Mastermind. And then I am actually in both of Joanne's communities. I've been in Launch before since the beginning of the year, because we had met at the end of the year last year and decided to co-collaborate with what we were doing to help and support each other. And I just joined the writers group because I've been a travel writer for about 4 years, and had been, my intention a year ago was to start travel writing. 3 months before the pandemic, I had first gotten my first published big assignment in March of 2020. And then of course we all know what happened. So with that being said, I think it's a great thing if you all want to introduce yourself, but in the chat, because I want to save this time for us to do what we're going to do, the step-by-step of this process that Joanne and I are going to walk you guys through. If you have questions, throw them in the chat. We can definitely, if you wanted to raise your hand or whatnot, or let us know if you have a question, that way we can address it right away. Because I think that's a good thing instead of holding it till the end, Joanne.
I agree. Yeah, we can make it as interactive as we can. So.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Okay. So where do we want to start, Joanne?
Okay, I want to start just a quick backstory of my Thrive experience. So to help you kind of with the steps and figuring it out for yourself. Um, so Thrive, first of all, Thrive Global is Ariana Huffington's online magazine. She's not doing the Huffington Post anymore. She's doing this Thrive Global. And I always saw people get in it and thought, wow, that must be really difficult to get in there. But honestly, when I got pitched an idea or a topic, which was um, uh, if you pivoted during the pandemic, what are the 5 things that you wish you knew if you were doing this pivot during the pandemic? And I thought that topic is like completely me. It was like meant for me because I went from corporate working, 60 hours a week at a corporate job, and then creating these, this side hustle, which now turned into kind of a main thing for me. So I thought that is me. I'm going to apply. And sure enough, I got accepted. And now I get emails from the editor saying, what else do you want to be in? Here's the list of things that we have upcoming. So I thought, oh, it would be great to share it with people so they know too. So I'm gonna share my screen just so you could see and kind of follow along. And afterwards, maybe either afterwards or over the weekend, Deb and I are going to send out a complete list with all the links and everything you're going to need, so you don't have to worry about writing down links because they're really long. But before I share, I want to just talk to you about this Authority Magazine and Thrive Global. So what are the two of them? So Authority Magazine, to me, I think it's like a medium site that just has a ton of subscribers. So it's definitely great to get on there, but it's kind of the gateway to Thrive. You submit your article, and it goes to both places. It goes to Authority first, and then it goes to Thrive second. And I'm going to show you only certain articles get accepted in both magazines. So I think personally that those are the topics you want to hit. There's lots of topics. There's, I think, 193 topics that Authority is covering, but a smaller number that Thrive is covering. And I'll show you the exact ones, and you can see which one fits, for you. So let me start by sharing my screen. 1 second. Okay. So first of all, I'm just going to show you mine. This is what mine looks like. The power of flexibility, how we were able to pivot because of the pandemic, and that's my fancy photo. And and then here's the article. We're not going to go over it. I'm going to talk later about the video, and it's very important, actually, the video. So that's what it looks like in Authority. And then oops, sorry. And then I'm going to show you what it looks like in sorry about that. This is what it looks like in Thrive. I'm going to share in a minute. And thanks for everyone for sharing about you in the chat. That's really awesome. I love seeing them coming through. And this is what it looks like for Thrive Global. It's basically the same exact article. They just changed the heading. But it's the same thing. It's the same picture, same article. So I don't want more info. Okay, so here's the first step. What are they working on? What articles are they working on? Okay, I'm going to share this with you after.
I did put Joanne, just to let you know, I did put that PDF that I sent you. I put that in the chat. So if people did want to look at that, and there's links there, the steps that we're going to go through at the top. There's resources to the links of the spreadsheet that Joanne's got up here, as well as some other articles that you can look at later. And then I have the example that we're going to do at the bottom. So just wanted to tell everybody that that's there. Let me know if you need help getting to it.
Perfect. Thank you, Deb. Deb is the master at putting things together. That I will say. I have it all over the place, and she's like, I'm putting it in one document. So thank you, Deb. Okay, so here are, and if at any point you have questions, just rate, flag me down. If I'm going too fast, just say slow down. Um, okay, so this is the list. This is their list. If you could see, it's not editable, but it literally has everything they're working on. So let's take the first one as an example. Female founders, 5 things you need to thrive and succeed as a woman founder. I'm gonna guess that probably everyone here can apply to this. It's a brand new one. They haven't even it isn't even live yet. If you see here, 8:15 is the live date. The deadline to submit is 8:15. And if you look here in the second column, it will tell you where it's going. So this example is going to the 2 places that I talked about, Authority Magazine and Thrive Global. Some of them, like if we go to the next one, this is going to Thrive Global, Authority Magazine, and there's a potential that it would also get into BuzzFeed and entrepreneur.com. That's like only, what they feel like will get in that. I don't think that mine ever made it to BuzzFeed or Entrepreneur. Honestly, I should check just to see, but I didn't get notified that it was. But you could see from this column where they're going. Mostly everyone on every article on this list is going to at least Thrive and Authority. So I'm just going to scroll. There's another one that I think I'm going to submit to again because it's not one and done. That's what I thought. I thought when I wrote my article, I put everything in there. I told people everything that I could possibly ever want to tell people because I thought, oh, this is the only time they'll ever accept me. But honestly, once you're in, you could just keep submitting. It doesn't matter. There's no limit. So if you look at number 133, which is here, how to get past perfectionism and just do it. Like that's the whole idea of my community about launching before everything feels perfect. So I feel like I'm going to submit to that one, and maybe you guys could hold me accountable too. So this is the list, and you can see. Let me add one more thing about the list. When you see ongoing, that just means it already has some articles and they're still looking for more people. Okay. And an important thing to know is I personally don't believe that they have a limit. I don't think they're like, well, we're only going to pick 3 people. They're picking hundreds of people for these articles because, and this is my own personal opinion, I'm hoping it's true, but they honestly want the more articles, the better, because for them, it's more eyeballs. It's more people saying, hey, look at me, I got into Thrive Global. It's more sharing links. So if you pitch, we're going to go through the example. If you have a compelling idea of why you're a good person for this, it will get in. I think 9 for 9 of like walking people through this, 9 people and 9 of them got in. So I feel pretty confident that if as long as you're not pitching that's something completely irrelevant. Like there's one about like cryptocurrency. If you have nothing to do with cryptocurrency, you might not get in that one. But if you're picking something like this female founder and you're female and you're a founder, you're most likely going to get in. So let me pause there for just a minute. What we're going to do next is we're actually going to pick one, which Deb is going to do this female founder one, and we're going to actually have her submit it on the call live, and you'll see how simple the application is. It is so simple. It's probably the simplest application you've ever filled out. So let me just pause though and just see if there's any questions. Okay, I don't see any. That's good. All right. So, uh, oh, I see Samir. Samir, hello.
Hi. Oh,
Hi.
I'm so sorry. The camera is off here.
That's okay.
Let
I
me
could
just.
visualize you.
Well, I'll work on it. Yeah, no, I am part of Deb's group and I'm working on a community. It's called Mystic Turn, and this is very attractive. I have a lot of content, and I think this is doable. And thanks for
Okay.
doing this. This is very helpful.
Oh, good.
When we see these titles,
Hmm.
I envision maybe people submitting articles with 15 different titles on that topic, right? You're not, you need to don't, it's not like everybody is on the same title. I can have an angle to that, to each of these topics. Or is the
Right.
title is in stone? What is it?
The title, like, so let's take this one, how to get past perfectionism and just do it. Let's say you pick that. You would apply, and then you're going to give your own spin, right? You're going to talk about, the ways you've gone through perfectionism. So everyone's would be different, right? If Deb submitted to this, hers would have a different angle, but that is the topic. So that's the title. Does that
And
make
so if they
sense?
publish 10 of them, they would all be under the same title, or how does
Uh,
that work?
yeah, they do hundreds of the same title. They say, How to Get Past Perfectionism by Joanne Flynn Black. How to Get Past Perfectionism by Kathy Kane. It's just because they know that I'm going to share it and Kathy's going to share it and you're going to share it when you get in. So they don't care that it's the same topic, but everyone is going to be different, right? I'm going to say something completely different from Kathy, although we might have some similarities.
But are you saying that article title will be the same? If I read 10 articles,
Yeah.
there will be and title of the article will be the same, identical.
E- Um, I think, well, let me just show you. So what they did was they took, so my article was about how to pivot during the pandemic, and so they just took something from that and made it the title.
Okay, okay,
Um,
no, I got it, I
yeah,
got it. So,
yeah. The
so we
theme
can
is the
hint to
same.
that suggestion and give them a vision of what this angle can be through the proposal to them. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Thanks for the question. So Deb, would it make sense for you to do the entry, or do you want me to?
No, I can do it. I can if you want me to share my screen, I can click on the links and
Yeah,
go through that. The question in the chats here was
yeah.
um, share it with us how to apply, and that's what we're going to do next
Oh,
with the
perfect.
specific link. So we'll share that for Terry, and then Carol asks if you need to have the article to submit for a topic. So that this list that Joanne has, this spreadsheet that Joanne has open is the actual titles that they're looking for submissions. And then she explained about the dates when they're due by, like when they need to submit them by. But these are hyperlinks. So if you click on these, it'll actually
Yeah,
go take you to where you need to submit your form, like the information that you
yeah,
put to submit.
yeah.
Did
So
that answer the questions, Carol? Yeah. Okay.
okay. And we're gonna have Deb share to go through this, but I just clicked, right? I clicked on this. Oop.
Oh, sorry. I moved you off because I was going
Oh,
to go into it.
that's fine. We'll see it when you do it. I just clicked on that link, and it brought up the application. That's how easy it is. So that spreadsheet is gold.
Yeah, I have the hyperlink from that
Yeah.
PDF I just put over there, and it comes to this here. And the one that
Yeah.
we discussed was this one, this first one that
Yep.
I already wrote up some information. So this is what it gives you information about what they're looking for. It gives you actually examples of like a report and some backgrounds about the topic. What they want you to discuss, the 5 things you need to know to thrive as a successful woman founder is the focus of the topic of the article, and so of the interview. And then they have some other links to other articles and resources so that you can look and see like what other people have discussed on this topic with similar articles. So I think that's super helpful. Now, I don't think every single one of the applications has this much extent of detail. I think some of them have more and some of them have less, but this one seemed to be a really good example for, because it fits for what I am doing, and it also gives a lot of like resources for you to, for me, as far as like yesterday I sat and looked through these web links and I researched it a little bit to put together the 200 word pitch that I'm going to share with you. So yeah, it's so my name, and I'll put founder, although I usually don't use that title. So this PDF that I had here has my actual submission in it down there. So I think I have to go back to the Word document. Hold on one second. I'm going to go back over to the Word document. Does anybody have questions so far of what I just did, of like the submission?
If you can go from the top of your sheet, the first thing that's a need list. What is that need list?
Hold on one second.
A need web link?
Yeah, so the web link is the one below. So the web link is so the steps are here. The web link where it says new web link, that's the first one, link to review stories to submit pitch. That's this link. So when you click on that link,
Okay.
that'll come up with that spreadsheet. And
Yeah.
then the application, I clicked on that top, the one that I want to submit, and I clicked on that, which brought me to this screen, which is their submission screen. And then I just needed my I just needed this little bit of bio that I already wrote up. And I put I wrote this up really quickly yesterday, but basically it's just highlighting the fact that I am a female founder, entrepreneur, business owner, and community builder. I found that there are a few things that helped me find calm and thrive in the first year of building my online consulting business. Keeping things as simple as possible, learning only what I need for the task in front of me, and letting go of the desire to have things look pretty helped me get unstuck, gain clients, and focus on my content creation instead of being stuck in consuming mode. So those are really big highlighting points that like what my article and what I can speak to, because that's my experience. And so that's what I'm trying to point out to them when they're asking in that top section of, they're highlighting like, what are the 5 things you need to know? And I basically just listed the 5 bullet points of what I would discuss and answer in that section. And then I said the biggest mind shift for me was asking people I know for help when I launched my business, tapping into the network I already have, and building new relationships with community builders in the industry. It helps me learn how they've been successful. Now inside my community, members share tips, resources, and success stories as they build, launch, and grow their paid online communities, which is what I help my clients do. Not only do I now have a core group of happy clients, I also have a ton of experience to share with them so that they can find calm as a creator in an online community. That's all of what I do. That's like basically my mantra for my entire consulting business as well as my community. So it really speaks personally to my uniqueness of what I'm doing in the field of community building as a new online business and new consulting business. So I probably could use a little bit of work, but that was the best I could come up with. Yes.
No, that's great. And I think one thing Deb and I talked about is like, um, just keep it short. 200 words is pretty short, so keep it on topic. Don't go, I went to college here. Like they don't care. They just care. Why are you, Deb, a good candidate for this? So just keep it short. And one thing to know is they don't use that snippet that she just wrote. They don't use that in the article. That's just for them to determine whether she's in or not. So yeah, you already did it. Female founder, you already submitted. Thank you for your pitch. We will try our best to get it placed. Get it placement. They have a typo.
Yeah.
Um,
So
so
that's
I
it.
know. I was going to say, so that's how simple it is. It was what name, company, whether you have a publicist, your 200 words, why you're going to be good at this article or this topic, why they should choose Deb. And then did it ask for your website? Oh, I missed.
No, there
I
wasn't
wasn't
any
sure if
other
it did.
links. It was just my
Okay.
email.
Your email. Okay. So that's it. I mean, I don't know. I've filled out way more complicated applications for so many things. I thought that was pretty easy. Um, one
Yeah, me
question
too.
Samir had, I know, right? It's simple. A question Samir had was, is this list updated regularly? It is. If you see that, like that top one, the one that Deb did, it was going to be 8/15 was the submission date of getting it out there. So they do update. That's their like master list that they share. So it is. Um, Tara says, I always thought it would be so much more to do this. I love how simple it is. I agree. I mean, I was kind of blown away. How easy is like, that's all they want is 200 words that they're not even going to include in the article. So I'm gonna shift to, okay, now what? But before I do that, question, I think Kathy had a question.
Yeah. So when you briefly had your article up, it looked like it was
Yeah.
written by somebody else. Was it it was an interview with you based on your pitch?
Really good question. They act like it's an interview, but you never talk to anyone. And that's what we're going to go in next. They send you questions and you answer them, but they're written in the form of like an interview. Oh, great to meet you. Could you tell us a little bit about your backstory? I've never talked to anyone. I only answered the email. So when they say, interview by, no, not really. They of course, read through it and will let you know if you've missed anything. But they don't interview you.
So then you're not pitching an article that you've written, or you are, but they're
No,
just doing it in a different way.
you're basically pitching, you're applying for a topic that they're going to Thrive and Authority is going to have a whole series, hundreds of people on this topic, right? So let's take the perfectionism one as an example. If I keep talking about it, I'll apply. So there's going to be hundreds of people talking about perfectionism. You will be one of them if that's the one you apply for.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense to everyone? Yeah.
And what is the purpose of the interview questions and all the answers? For them to get to know you even more after 200 words, or interview is the part of the content?
That's the article. That is, I'll show it now.
Okay.
But that is the article word for word, literally. Unless, like I said, if you miss something, like if you completely miss a question, they'll come back and say you've missed a whole question. But they didn't edit my article at all. Like there's no editing around it. So,
That's like, so it's so funny because as somebody who went to journalism school and spent 15 years as a reporter and a journalist, it's kind of like, this is like the red flag of what you don't do as a journalist. You don't ask people questions over emails because they typically come off as like too perfect when you can get actual answers from a phone call, much better, or an in-person interview. That's why most people that are professional journalists would typically never do this at all. But this is not a journalistic endeavor, right? This is more about getting your name out there and getting people to know who you are in a public and visible, as we use the word visible, in visible way. So I think of it as not my journalist hat is taken off and my writer hat is even taken off to a point where I'm just trying to say, okay, how do I want to use this in reference to my business? And how can I leverage this to help my business versus this is a professional interview with a publication, because it's not really that. Like, it's not like you're getting a call from somebody from the Wall Street Journal and you're like on the phone answering their questions. It's a whole different structure, which can be confusing, but I like, again, it's more about a business perception versus like a authentic for somebody who's like me and maybe Kathy, a couple other writers out there. They're like, what are we doing? We're writing it. We're not writing it. It's an interview. It's not an interview. I don't get it. It's a little bit of all of it, right?
No, honestly, because when you read it and at the end it says this interview was done by this person, you're like, I never talked to that person. What are they talking about? Yeah. But I will add this before I show you the questions and how that works. It's like, what's the why? What's the why of all this? Why would anyone even care to get into Thrive Global? I'll tell you about mine. I thought that was a perfect article for me. I pitched it, I got in, and it gave me a little more credibility, both from like myself, like, oh, they actually picked me to do this article, and then externally. So I posted it on my LinkedIn, I posted it on Facebook, I posted it on Instagram. I got it, I told everyone and their brother that I was in it. So it just gives you, Deb and I talked yesterday about when you go to people's website and says, as seen in, as seen in Thrive Global, as seen in Authority, as seen in this, it helps your credibility for you as, self, I don't know, yourself, I don't even know what you're calling there at the moment, but just, feeling confident about yourself and others saying, oh, she must be doing something cool because Arianna Huffington wrote about her, even though it wasn't her. So,
Carol brings up a good point about credibility when you're an authority leader or a thought leader, as they call them now. That's a big title that's going around, being a thought leader for an industry. And so when you're talking in these articles and when you are you basically are the writer and the interviewee at the same time, is what this comes down to. Is like when you're doing the pitch, it's about them just knowing what you're going to actually answer in the interview. And then when they send you the questions, which Joanne's going to go over next, then it's just about, okay, I'm just filling this out, and that's what's going to show up on the article.
Right.
So does that help? I know that there was a question in there. Can figure out, will always get accepted. And that's what Joanne's going to talk about. Like, most likely you will, unless you're like, really, if you don't answer the questions that they answer and there's things missing.
Right. So let me go to the interview in quotations, because it wasn't really an interview, and I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So what happens next? So Deb submitted. And same way I submitted. And I think within 24 to 48 hours, you get notified. It also depends on if it's an ongoing article or one that has a date. So it could be longer. So don't get like, oh, shoot, Joanne said 48 hours. I think it depends a little bit. I know I got notified right away, but I know of another article someone wrote, they didn't get notified until weeks later. So give yourself from, 48 hours to 2 weeks, and then you'll hear back from them. So they'll say, like, Deb, they're going to say yes, absolutely. They're going to say, congratulations, Deb, you've been accepted for this article. Here, fill this out. And this is the, quote, interview. So they basically, there's a lot of rules of how you have to do it. So you have to kind of read through that, make sure you're hitting them all. But then it says, as part of this series, I want to make it a little bigger. We had the pleasure of interviewing, insert your name and insert your bio written in the third person. And there, that is definitely something, because let's see, as someone who gets accepted, you get visibility, and Deb has it in the links of everyone's articles and when they're going to be published and what mistakes they made. So I see a lot that say, you're missing a bio, please fill in. So, just make sure you hit all the questions, or else they're going to come back and say you messed up. So you see it's done in a conversational, thank you so much for doing this. Before we start, we'd love our readers to get to know you a bit. Can you tell us about your childhood? And you literally fill out every question. There's about 12 of them. I think it depends on the article. I know some are more and some are less, but I think 12 is a good roundabout number. I will share that when I did this, I thought, this is the last time anyone's going to ever write anything about me. I better put in everything, like everything that's happened to me, my whole entire life needs to go into this article. So I was talking some pretty heavy stuff. But it's not like, you can be short. I was long. I was pretty exhaustive on every question, but I really didn't need to be. So just a little tip: don't feel like you have to share everything. So here are the questions that were from my article. So I filled it out, but I want to show you the most important question. So these you could be short. You don't have to tell them everything. This is the most important question in all the articles. They always ask for 5 things. 5 things, why, what I wish someone told me before I started leading an organization. Dev is going to be 5 things for a female founder, 5 things to help perfectionism. And this, they want not only the thing, but a short sample of it. Like, for me, 5 things I wish someone told me. One of them was, asking for help is not a weakness. So I know, like me, I think, oh, I could do everything, and if I just spend some time and figure it out, and then I could do it. But you know what? I could just ask someone who does this for a living, and then they can maybe answer in 5 minutes instead of me spending weeks. So that was one of my things. So they just want a thing and a short example. And then that's it. This is the quote interview, which you're going to do over email, and then you send it back. And there's very specific steps on, they want you to upload it, they don't want you to email it. So you definitely have to follow the steps here. I'm going to talk about the optional video, but before I do, I just want to see if there's any questions. Want to just look in the chat, or feel free to unmute yourself. Okay. So they ask, they say right here that make sure you have a high quality picture. I'm lucky because I never had a photo shoot in my life, but I did like a month before this, and so I had pictures. Otherwise I would have been feeling like, oh, I don't have anything. But they are going to ask for high quality pictures. So know that up front. Try to get them if you can. Like, here's the what number of pixels it needs to be. It doesn't mean it has to be a professional photo shoot, but it at least has to be something bigger than just a quick thing that you took in a low resolution. They give you some, here's the thing about the video. It says optional, but a good opportunity. And I'm going to tell you how good of an opportunity this is. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. This is really important. And I'm going to give you a couple examples. So when they talk about a video, the video is only you talking about your 5 things. So, 5 things, blah, 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 for my article. Number 1 is this. Number 2 is that. It could be super short. I think mine was like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. But what it does is this, and it's super important. If you don't submit a video, it will get published. No problem. But you know what? It's going to take at least 4 months in my example. So I submitted mine, it was right or a little before Christmas. And when I first submitted it, it said, congratulations, thanks for submitting. Your article is going to be published on, April 12th. I was like, oh, damn, I have to wait a really long time. But then when they saw that I submitted a video, they bumped me up on the list. So anyone who submits a video gets skips the line basically, and they get above every other person who submitted without a video. My article came out actually on December 23rd. It literally was days. It was days instead of 4 months. And I have, Megan, that's a good question. What do they do with the video? I'm going to give you one more example. My friend who's in actually both of my communities, Gina, she just submitted, and I gave her the same story. Gina, please submit a video. Like whatever you do, I don't care if it's 30 seconds, just submit a video, because otherwise you're going to be waiting 4 months. And she didn't want to do it, but she's really good at doing reels and stuff. So I was like, just make a reel type video where you're doing a voiceover. And she did. Her article, no exaggeration, it was published in 2 days. 2 days. And she got the same thing. It was like 4 months from now. So I really wanted to do that, because when you submit something, you don't want to wait for 4 months, because you're always thinking about it and you're losing time. So anyway, what they do with the video is this, and I'll show you my video. It was so bad, I will admit, and it shouldn't be, because I know a lot about doing videos, but I did it the last day, of course, and my eye was puffy, and you can see they put it here, and look, my eye's all puffy. I was doing it on Zoom with the background, but I don't care. I don't care that it wasn't perfect, and because I was like, if I cared, I would be going against everything I just wrote in this article about launching before. So that's my thing about the video. Even if it's you holding your phone and just saying, 5 things, that's it. So let me pause for a minute and just see if there's any questions about this interview and the video.
I was going to screenshot that paragraph about the video description, so you can think about, because we cannot see that document before interviews, before we approve, right? We would not be able to see that document.
I could share it. I'll share it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the video itself, we would love to see you.
Yeah.
It's not in the article. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, okay. You know what? Because there's 2 articles, I think we only put 1 link, because it went into Authority and Thrive. And here's the thing, if you can, have a friend read your article looking for mistakes, because once it's up, they kind of forget about you. My article got published in Thrive and they had a mistake with two things. One, they didn't give photo credit to my photographer, who happens to be my husband. And the second thing is they didn't include my video. And I was like, hey, could you do these two things? And then I never heard back. So just, have a friend read it out loud to yourself. Don't overthink it, but once it's there, it's really hard to get any changes. And Samir, I'll send you the link. I'll send everyone the link.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Kathy?
This is getting way ahead of myself, but is there any reason once you submit that you couldn't continue to submit either with the same topic, with a different angle, or a different topic?
I think you could submit all of the topics that you want, but maybe not two articles with the same topic, because unless they come back and say no, they say, no, Kathy, we don't want your thing on perfectionism, and you then resubmit with five, another idea about it. But I would say you could submit as many topics as you want. Yeah. Good question.
What would
Thanks,
you say?
Deb.
What would you say adds to the credibility besides that they need to see? Because I assume there will be a lot of people applying, and they need to quickly scan through. If somebody has never written an article, or
they don't care.
What are they?
Yeah, they're looking, are you a good fit for this article? They don't care what you've written in the past. They don't care where you went to college. They just care. They don't care how many followers you have. They only care if you are good for this article. So like when Deb did her submission and her short 200 words, that's really honestly all they look at.
Thanks.
Yeah. Right, exactly, Megan. They're looking just for digital content. That is 100% right. It's like I mentioned it before. The more people who get in, the more eyeballs. Because if all of us submitted and all of us got in and we told all our friends and we posted it everywhere, that's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of views that they wouldn't have gotten if we didn't submit and get accepted. So they want you in. They really do. So, what other questions? I know we only have 10 minutes and I want to be,
Megan was asking what they do with the video link. Did we answer that question about it goes in the article? And then
yes, I did. Yep, goes in the article.
Tara.
Tara.
Go ahead, Tara.
Sorry.
Tara, go.
Yeah.
You can go.
I had gotten a call, so I might have missed it. You might have already said this.
Yeah, no worries.
For the video content, like, am I putting like the video on, like, say Vimeo or something like that, and then sharing that link into the article?
Yeah, good point. Good point. They will ask for a link to the video. So what I did was I put it on my YouTube channel, which I have 10 subscribers. I'm double digits now. Woo! But I just put it there, and you could, if you don't want anyone to find it, you could put it unlisted. But they are looking for a link. So good question. I know, Kathy.
Yeah, I was just curious, once you submit even the video, is it still your property? In other words, can you take that video and use it, repurpose it, or
I think so. I don't think they're asking for like copyright of it or anything like that. They're just literally linking to your YouTube. That's it, or wherever.
It's your copyright if you create it.
Yeah.
That's your content. Honestly, you should even the content that you're writing, like the answers, you could repurpose this into your own blog post. You could basically repurpose that post into your own blog post, or you could use it as a topic on a podcast, or you could, like, there's ways to repurpose the exact same thing. We talked a little bit about that in a couple workshops a while ago about how you can, like, there's different ways to repurpose content. But I think that as long as you're not copying and pasting their entire article on your blog. Other than that, like just repurposing the topic content that you're writing up and kind of reframe it in your blog, then I don't see anything with issue with that. And then you could also link to that article for a different perspective if there's something. I don't know. There's a lot of options, I think.
Yeah. And I see Ani had a question from earlier. I know Deb mentioned it. I don't think she asked if any specific industries get accepted more so than health. I don't think so. I mean, I think if they're looking for like that one example, I keep going back to female founders. If you're a female founder, why wouldn't they, I don't think they would say not in the health industry. That's my own opinion. I haven't really researched it, but that's
I think
what
it's a good point to mention if you're bringing some kind of a new concept or idea or unique concept or idea. Like if you're just repurpose it, like as somebody who like maybe I would go on and if I copied Joanne's basically whole thing and was like, here's what I'm going to say, but it's not really me, or it's like I'm just repurposing somebody's like step-by-step process and then reiterating it. Obviously that's not authentic to myself. And then they might reject it based on the fact that like, oh, well, somebody else had this exact same submission. But I think, or their topic has been like done to death. Like, if there's something specific that you're like that other people have consistently wrote over and over and over again about that, and you're not bringing anything new to the table with it, then that might be a reason for them to not want to approve you or anything like that. But I think that there's so much ability for everybody in this room here to have a unique perspective on tons of these topics and bring in your own personality and kind of spice to it. So I think if you submit something like that, it's just going to be helpful for yourself and for them, because you're just giving them free content. Is really they're not paying a writer, and that's the whole point. Is like they've really just strategized themselves in a way of like they don't have to pay writers in general when they do these kinds of things. It's just more content.
Yeah. And just to talk a little about, we talked about our communities earlier, but especially in my Writers Who Wander community, we're going to be like workshopping these and going over them. So, if you want to join, I'm going to send the link. I had closed it, but I'm going to open it. It's right now I'm doing a founding member launch. It's only $10 a month, $100 a year. But it's a good place to, I know some of you are already in it, so thank you. It's a good place to like, I don't know, workshop these things and ask, what do you think about as well. So I'll send that link after.
Yeah, FriendCom here members are going to be talking more about this too in a lot of other upcoming workshops. Samir has a real quick question.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, Samir.
If you can, a deadline to submit live date, if you can tell us like what does that mean, and a term ongoing, just so we can read this table properly.
No, that's a good point. So in that first chart that I showed you, where it had deadline to submit, so that first article, that founding female founders, they haven't released any articles about that yet. So they're going to do it starting 8/15. So they're hoping to get as many people in by 8/15. When it says ongoing, it just means they've already done it, but they want more. They want to continue, like they already released it. It's out there. There's hundreds of articles, but they're going to still consider any new ones. So that this list, only if it says ongoing or it has a date, they're still looking for articles on it.
And what is live date?
That's when they're going to start releasing them. So one thing I didn't mention was like they don't release the articles like, okay, it's 8/15, I'm going to publish 100 articles. They do it like one a day. So let's say Deb submitted, she got her questions, she wrote out all the answers, she had a video, she's going to be number one, right? But let's say I waited, it took me, they give you 21 days, by the way, I didn't mention that before. They give you 21 days to answer the questions. If you wait till the 21st day, like I did, you're going to be like further down on the list, but the video will bump you up. But you know, if you're quick at getting it out, if you're like, I'm going to get this out in 7 days, you're going to be even higher on the list. So it's really just first in, first out, but the video makes you skip the line.
Cool.
All
Thank you so
right.
much for sharing, Joanne. Thanks everybody for being
Yeah.
awesome participants and asking really great, awesome questions. If
Yeah.
there will be a replay in both of our in all of the communities that you're all members of, wherever it is, you'll have access to the recording. And if anybody needs that PDF, I put it up in the FineCom here community under this event, but and Joanne has it that she can share with you if you're not in
I'll share
FineCom
it
here.
too.
I have a link to FineCom here in there for anybody who's not a member. If you're interested in connecting with me, or just I can share with you my email address too. If anybody just wants to shoot me an email, I'll put that in too. Anything else, Joanne?
I just want to thank everyone for coming. I honestly feel like all of you will get in if you apply. So hopefully you apply, and we could come back together in, I don't know, a month or two, and then just do a celebration. I mean, I know Deb's going to let us know when she gets in. So
I was gonna say we just set up the so I'm on Clubhouse, and I've been trying to get in there more. I've been a little bit hesitant about it, and like, what am I doing with this? Why am I wasting my time talking to people on here is kind of my thought process. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try to be open and like talk to people. And I started doing that. But Joanne and I are gonna have a live, hopefully, if anybody shows up, a live Clubhouse a week from today. So 1:00 p.m. Eastern next Friday in Clubhouse. And so it's going to be, I'm going to announce if I got any feedback, if I got in, we're going to talk about that and answer any other questions. And maybe if you all have a chance to submit from now to then, you can tell us how that process was for you if you're able to join our Clubhouse. And so that's kind of what we're going to do next. And then good luck for everybody. I do have to go because I have another call. So thanks everybody for joining us today. Take care. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you later.
Okay. Bye, everyone.